Turning now to this morning's Business Insight. 10 days ago, the Obama administration invited 25 Cincinnati business leaders and Mayor Mark Mallory to share their insight and feedback about job creation and the economy with senior administration officials. The local leaders had a chance to ask questions and brief administration officials on a variety of issues. When the group returned, they identified the key initiatives that are essential for the ongoing vitality of Cincinnati as transportation, restoring our urban core, and education. Joining Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer are two of the members of that business delegation to the White House, Peg Mortal, a senior vice president at PNC Bank, and Jean-Francois Flechet, owner of Taste of Belgium, one of the thriving new restaurants on Vine Street in Over the Rhine. Rob?
Brian, thank you, and thanks, guys, for being here today. I appreciate it. Peg, let's start with you. Who went on this trip? We saw a picture there a second ago, but who was in that group?
It was a really interesting group of folks. Unlike some other fly-ins that are done that focus on the Chamber of Commerce and others, this was really, there were a couple of big corporate people, me and Claude Davis, the CEO of First Financial, but beyond that, it was some nonprofit leaders, Donna Jones-Baker from the Urban League, for example, Bob Coy from Cincy Tech, and also then a really wide range of entrepreneurs and small business owners, from Rich Grader, fourth generation, family business, well known, actually. He was sort of the celebrity in the crowd when we got to the White House, but down to Jean-Francois Flechet and some of the other new entrepreneurs who've really staked their claim in the city and are basing their futures on our vibrancy.
It was really good for me to see when I saw the list of who was going. It was great for me, Jean-Francois, to see that they had chosen or asked somebody like you to go because the things that you need to run your business are really so different than a big business would be. What were your takeaways? What did you learn after you were done, or what did you feel like you brought back to Cincinnati from this meeting?
One of the things we talked about is access to capital, which is really critical for small businesses, and it's not always easy to get a bank loan, especially in the industry in which I'm in, because of the risk associated with it. And a lot of time it's just difficult to raise money from a large number of people because they need to be qualified investors and so on. And President Obama just passed the JOB Act, so I think that's something that would really make it a lot easier for entrepreneurs to raise money.
Obviously, running a restaurant, you have some things that just have to go right for you, or it's just not going to work out. One of those, I think, has got to be finding the right employees, finding the right people that you can get into the hospitality business. Tell me a little bit about maybe what you learned about the kind of people that are out there looking for jobs right now.
The one thing I didn't realize is that how high the unemployment rate was among Army veterans, and also the fact that the government has some specific tools where we can put some job posting and try to hire veterans. So that's something we're actively looking into right now.
Peg, what did you bring home with you from that meeting that you thought was really important, or something you just didn't know?
I would say that the awareness of the administration, of the issues that we face in this community, I thought there was good, candid opportunity for our delegation to provide information to the administration, and we learned some things about some of what's coming. They really seem to be listening. That was good, and I know from PNC's perspective, we're very interested in tax reform. We had a lot of conversation about taxes from the small business perspective as well as from the corporate perspective. We're very interested in tax reform, but we also have seen in this community particularly the power of the New Market Tax Credit Program, for example, which has enabled us to bring private capital to bear to do some of these really significant revitalization projects, from the Vernon Manor to Washington Park to the Zoo Solar Canopy project, and the fact that we were able to express to the administration how powerful that's been and hear back their support was really great.
Did you guys do most of the talking, or did you mainly listen? I'm just curious as to how the meetings themselves actually went.
It was a little bit of both. We did quite a lot of talking, and they were really willing to listen, and
they certainly had their presentations prepared, and we heard from a number of different, from the veterans Affairs Office to summer youth employment folks who were involved in that. We had a presentation with the chief economist from the Department of Commerce on just the general economic state of the country as well as this region. And so it was a really interesting variety of perspectives from the administration as well. They presented, but in each case we had the opportunity for feedback and dialogue, and I can tell you this was not a shy group about expressing their opinions and their ideas about what we really need from the federal government.
Which is great, and you know, it was a big group, and it is, I think, which happens a lot in Cincinnati, there's just a lot of pride that people have in the city, and I've got to believe that it was just a good group to just be with and sort of trade stories and try to even get on the same page with a lot of what you wanted to talk about, despite the fact that you just were completely different in different walks of life. Business-wise. Let me ask you one more question. I'd like to find out a little bit more from you about the transportation item. You got back, you sort of wrote up a couple things that you wanted to concentrate on. Transportation, does that mean just streetcar, or tell me a little bit about what you mean there?
Actually, we talked about transportation from the regional level.
Okay.
Certainly, the Brent Spence Bridge is a huge issue. I mean, that is a national commerce path that is in desperate need of replacement, and we know it's an expensive project to do, but we think it's really critical, and so we did talk about that. And we talked about streetcar. The federal government's support has been critical, and that there were members in our group, and maybe Jean-Francois wants to say something about who are already counting on that streetcar and investing because the streetcar is going to be there. So we talked about the need for a 21st century infrastructure, transportation infrastructure for the region.
Do you, how important would a streetcar be for your restaurant? I drive by your restaurant a lot on Vine Street, and I'm always really thrilled to drive by because I see a lot of people in there, and it's got a really cool setting. So just really quickly, I just wanted to find out, is the streetcar going to be a big deal for you if it happens?
I think it will. I think it will be. We're doing much better than we anticipated to do at this point, but the number one reason why I picked that location is because of the proximity to a streetcar.
Great. Thanks, guys, for being here.